Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I greet you in the name of our Lord Jesus. How are you doing today? All right, let us talk about Pastor Tobi Adegboyega. Now, there was a time that we covered this incident that is unfolding now, because as it is now, he is set to be deported, or at least he's at the risk of being deported from the UK to Nigeria.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. It's been a while that I've been here.
It's been a while. What have I missed?
Nothing much. We're still the same. Still doing our work and still balling.
This is the time to spend money. When money is in the building, we do what? We spend money.
I'm wearing a Gucci slippers, Casablanca tracksuit, if you may say, a Patek watch. But this is just me working. It's supposed to be a black tie event tonight. It's really gonna be.
We're here to celebrate you tonight, because as you say, each of every one of us were there here. You've impacted our lives in one way or the other.
It started as my birthday, so we call it 11/11. That's the day I was born. But now it's gone past that. It's like a mini festival.
Let's just have fun as one family tonight. And if I get into trouble, like I do most times, my lawyer is there right on my table. So nothing can touch me.
Is when I bring our friends from Africa and the United States and show them what we've done during the years, like these years, how many businesses we've helped, how many people.
If you have forgotten why that is about to happen, or why he is almost being threatened with deportation, I would want to refresh your memory. Now, there was this time that about 2 years ago or so, that he was charged for misappropriating about 1.87 million British pounds sterling, which he could not account for. You know, there is a stark difference between what these men do in places like Nigeria or probably other African countries compared to how it is, done in the overseas, in places like UK and probably USA, because there is definitely need for accountability. And that is why most of these, your general overseers, they can never ever survive 1 month in places like the UK, because over there you must be frugal, you must be very, very transparent in spending public funds. Churches, the church fund are treated as charity of public funds over there, if I'm not making a mistake. But here, many insincere and dubious general overseers see church money as their own money. In fact, when they want to make it sound spiritual, they will call it God's money. And so, because it is God's money, they are God's slaves, God's servants, God's property that God's money must take care of. All right. So nobody there questions how these monies are being, spent. Well, anyway, they may also find scriptural quotes to back up what they're saying. But in the real sense, when the Lord Jesus was here, we know he never handled money at all. And all the money that came into the purse, Judas was in charge of it. And we also see how Judas eventually ended up. Now, and the Bible made a mentioning of the fact that Judas was helping himself with the money that was in his possession, and he was called a thief. So I don't even know if it has occurred to so many of these pastors that when they do that, when they spend church money, on themselves, that they are also like Judas Iscariot, because they are helping themselves with the money that is not theirs, though they say they are servants of God. All right, so a bit foundation I laid there, but then the British government has ordered the deportation of Pastor Tobi Adegboyega, founder of Spark Nation, after he lost his appeal at Immigration Tribunal. The tribunal's decision follows investigations that revealed financial mismanagement and a lack of transparency in the operations of Spark Nation, leading to its closure by UK authorities. The UK Charity Commission shut down Spark Nation after Adegboyega failed to account for over $1.87 million pounds in expenses. The tribunal also heard allegations that the church encouraged impoverished members to take drastic measures such as securing large loans and committing fraud in order to make donations. The UK government ordered his deportation after the Immigration Tribunal ruled against him following a series of investigations into his church's financial practices. UK authorities shut down Spark Nation after the church failed to account for more than £1.87 million in outgoing funds, and allegations of financial mismanagement and exploitation surfaced. Now, so this was, I did this video, but I thought I've forgotten the title I gave to it, but I know it is in this channel. All right, and now not just this, the church was closed. The BBC did a documentary on that, and some victims actually spoke to the media, and it was well documented. Now, fast forward to today. Now, the man himself is faced with deportation. I listened to him. He gave an interview to Shude about 2 years ago, and his lifestyle, the flamboyant kind of lifestyle that he lives, was called into question by Shude. Definitely anybody like that would always have an explanation to what he does, and trust some ungodly pastors. They will always have something to say because, of course, they are in the public space and they are very, very good, at using words. And so his term explanation does not make sense to me. But before we go to that, there is a certain Isaac Fayose, the brother of the former governor of Ekiti State, who is not shy in saying his mind. In fact, at some point in time, he has also criticized his own brother. Now, he told the public the experience that his son and his own nephew had in Tobi Adegboyega's church when it was operational in the UK. Here is what he said.
You are welcome to the End Time Truth Television, the channel for the lovers of truth, for the truth of the end time. So if you are a lover of truth, give us a subscription and God bless you. Shalom.
My son and my nephew's ugly experience at Pastor Tobi's office, 56 church, 7 years ago. They narrated everything. They sat me down for 3 hours 4 years ago to tell me what they went through, how they were forced to bring half of their salary, how they were put in a mansion to tell them, to brainwash them that this money you are bringing is for God, how they were forced to go and bring their friends and everybody to the church, so to tell them to do the same. It was a very funny and ugly experience for them, that even my nephew up till today is still bitter about Pastor Tobi all the time. He said, that man, uncle, I no go agree. They had a very nasty experience. When my son was younger, because all these British boys, I don't want him to join all this knife cartel and all that. I brought him home at 16 for him to be a bit rugged. But we have to let him go back after some time. So his cousin, which is my nephew, took him to Pastor Tobi's church, and all the experience was ugly. My advice for Pastor Tobi is, UK doesn't tolerate that. Many pastors in Nigeria, if they are in UK, they will be in jail. My advice is move back to Nigeria and run.
Well, anyway, if you had listened to those that were interviewed in those days, and also from what I read, you would understand that the narration of Mr. Isaac Fayose here is not different from what some of the victims of this fraud, allegedly told the newsmen in those days. Now, the thing is that, he himself took what he is doing, what he was doing then as a business, and actually not as a church, because if you are a pastor, there is the kind of lifestyle you must not live, and the business venture was actually booming, because there should be a limit to whatsoever you do, even as a human being, not to talk of when you claim to be a pastor. Now he has these lame excuses that he brought so many people out of the streets. So many people, decided drugs and crime, and then police came into the system.
But when I was coming here and I said, I was talking to a friend of mine, I said, I'm going to interview Pastor Tobi. And I will be honest with you, her reaction. It says, I cock my eyebrows in disapproval. He is all about the bling and the clouds. Now this person, and the reason why I love doing my show is that I ignore whatever people say on the outside, and I want to find out for myself from the person in their own words. But for this friend of mine who is a serious-minded person, a Christian etc., but all she has heard, all she has seen, is Lamborghini, Davido, Tiwa, Charity Commission, BBC's report on fraudulent activities. What do you say to such a person that might make them even take a second look at what you think is the great work that you're doing?
I think intelligence is relative. Media is supposed to show you what you want to see. So she can't say all she sees because she hasn't looked. So what I'll say to the person is, look and see for yourself. Don't wear the highs of Instagram, because truly, if you want to see, there is a lot to see.
Right.
5,000 messages on SoundCloud that I've preached. There was no blame. I don't care about erased people. So all I'm going to say is look, because that will make you more intelligent and even help you for your own person, because you look at the same.
You look beyond what is said.
I think we got known because we were not just in a static place.
Right.
We were not the church that says come to us. We actually went to people. I think that was what happened.
Right.
From 200 to 300 to about 1,000 plus.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Yeah.
And we were wondering what happened. Then we discovered that we were connecting more with the people we want to reach. We would finish service and the altar would be filled with all manner of drugs. And we didn't even know how to report to the police. We were just doing our thing. So at times I would look and say, look, if police come in here now, we're in trouble, because how do you explain this is a church? Because it's not even a church building. After that, the police started their amnesty program and all that, because we've shown them that we took more knives off the street. And if you know UK, it's knife crime, unlike America. America is gone. Right? This is knife crime. We took more knife off the street in 1 year than the Metropolitan Police. But unfailingly, after each service, then you would have at least 3 police vans. They've come to collect things that people have surrendered on the altar. It's in the news. It's everywhere.
Now, give it to him that what he may be saying may be true. What he was saying may be true. It could still be a lie, but it is possible that what he said is true. Now, the question now is, did you bring them out from that foundation in order to enslave them, to recolonize their mind and make them an asset to yourself? Because definitely there is a way these people will want to trust you. And in fact, they will want to entrust their lives into your hands because, on the surface, you have helped them. On the surface, you have helped to reshape and remodel their lives. Did you save them unto yourself? You brought them to yourself, or you saved them to direct them to Christ? Now, that should be the question. Now, but there was a question that Mr. Isaac Fayoshe asked. There was something that he dropped regarding to the kind of life certain people live. There's a way that people live that you won't have a choice but to question, how come? How is this possible?
When a pastor is living like Wizkid, when a pastor is living like Burna Boy lifestyle, pastor's lifestyle, we like Burna Boy. But we know where Burna Boy money they come from. We know where Wizkid money they come from. Where is pastor money coming from? There are so many people, emergency billionaire that we celebrate in this country. No track record. Our children need to be safe. Government need to start sanitizing that sector, because Bible says we have to be careful the kind of thing we allow to enter our brain. They can confuse us. We have to be careful people we give our heads to. A pastor living a lifestyle of Wizkid and Burna Boy, a pastor driving a Ferrari, Lamborghini, without any industry, without any company. Abba. We don't need Oracle to tell us Say na wuru we dey follow go. Shine your eyes. Be smart. Even God, he say humble yourself. Even God, he humbled himself too. He came to the world, to earth, to save you and I. Anybody that is living lifestyle that is more than his income, I don't regard them. I call them wuru people. May God save us. I come in peace. Oh.
Let's, balance this. It is not a crime for a pastor to drive big car. It is not a crime for anybody to drive as much as you legitimately earned the money. It is not bad. Whether you understand me, I believe you understand what I'm saying. Now, it is not a crime in itself for anybody to live a life that he can afford, if it is your choice. But there are some persons that have decided that instead of living a lavish lifestyle, they want to invest it in something else that could benefit humanity. Now, but if any person decides to spend his money, whichever way he wants or she wants to spend his money, nobody has the right to question him why and how. But remember, I said his money. So now the process of getting the money is now what we are looking at. The source of the money is now what we are looking at. Somehow I have seen that genuine and legitimate businessmen, they don't go about living ostentatious lifestyles. They don't. I don't think I've seen this rich man that worked for their money. Maybe, however, just do a mental calculation of a man that struggled hard to make his money. Hardly will you see that man throwing money away. Politicians can afford to do that because, of course, that their money is not legitimate. And now, narrowing it down to a pastor, now throwing money at the video and attending all kinds of worldly party in the name that a pastor has a life. So this question is very, very valid. But when he was confronted with this, look at the answer he gave.
People are going to find it difficult to agree with you when you say you are not chasing fame. When they say they see you spray money on the video in the club, they sense you around the Tiwa Savage concert, they see you in the Lamborghinis queued up. There's no way they're not going to think that, that you actively want fame and that, this is the lifestyle that you want.
No, absolutely not.
So how do you reconcile that?
On the contrary. But I do respect their view, and that's why I'm saying that there are things we didn't choose that happens. But let me say to those who would say you sprayed money on Davido, I love Davido. And I think I'm still allowed to be human, right? And their churches invite pastors and give them honorarium. Mm-hmm. I don't know why you're giving a fellow pastor money. I don't get it. Mm-hmm. But fine, you do what you choose to do. Mm-hmm. For me, our own honorarium is a person comes all the way. I don't know where David was coming from at the time, some other country. Here's that one of my pastors have a wedding and he decides to come. When in our tradition, when you go to parties, people spray money. Am I right or wrong? Maybe Yoruba culture, I don't know if Igbos or others do it, but I see them spray money. So for me, it wasn't meant for the video. At the same time, I've also felt that those who hide are cowards. Because I know pastors in Africa who have big cars, Bentleys and all that. But they drive Toyota to church. And I say, why do you do this? You do know this is deceit. That's my own opinion. Then they will say, people will talk. And I'm saying, but then you should not get the car in the first place. For some of us, we are who we are. If I have a penny, somehow, once the boys around me know, it will get on the internet because everybody can see my life. This is where I live. Almost nobody in the Nation family, Spark Nation family, that doesn't know where I live. It's not a secret. I'm not hiding it for what people will say. The HQ. Again, someone will then say, you were showing off the HQ. No, I wasn't showing it off. All the cars that line up, they are our businesses. There are people in the church who owns that car, who knows that if I'm saying taking videos or driving it promotes their businesses. Because business is how we survive. That's what we do.
And definitely when he said that, my mind agreed with him that, of course, it was a business. It was a business that must be tenaciously and seriously followed up and marketed so that those who will be attracted with this kind of opulence would always come. And once they come, the next thing will be that if you want to live this kind of life, if you want to be free of debt in your life, now this is what you must do. Go and get loan. Do whatever you can do to support the work of God, in quote, the work of God, the project of God. So do what you can do and support, and God will embarrass you with miracles. Now, the question nobody asks is, how often do people like this spend so much money in God's project? Of course, they are God's project. Yeah. So he is living large, whereas those that he claimed to have brought out from the world of crime, automatically became his slaves. And so he enslaved them and milked them. They are his business. Now, like I was saying, if any pastor, any man legitimately earned his money, having investments, working out, for his money, and not depending on the deception that he would have to throw at the public to milk the people live on the stage. Now he has his own business that he's legitimately doing and earning money. If his desires is to drive the best of cars, I don't think anybody has the right to question that person. But then in that same right, there should be some form of decorum. There should be some form of boundaries that must be set, not to cross. Because as a pastor, you are mostly like a scripture. The Bible says that we are the scriptures that the world read. And so there are things that pastors cannot do, should not do. There are places that Christians must not go. Born again Christians. I'm not talking about church people. There are places that we must not go. There are things that we must not do. There are places that we must not be seen as a people. But if a pastor has no boundaries and is frolicking with all kinds of people, then he has to be questioned. Well, anyways, whatever the outcome of the case may be, now, since the UK government has decided that he would be deported, Nigeria is an haven for people like him. And don't be surprised that he returning to Nigeria, he can also establish that his church in Nigeria, and many people will come around him and become his members, and he will continue doing the things that he's doing. Now, of note is Daddy Freeze. You see, I like Daddy Freeze, but when sometimes I look at people who are criticizing pastors, and if you look closely at them, most of us, our lives are not different from what we are criticizing. Now, if Daddy Freeze will be at ease to associate with somebody like Tobi Adegboyega and even Hush Puppy, and I don't know who has noticed that of late, Daddy Freeze is no longer criticizing Suleiman, rather he's holding briefs for him. That's the least I can say about this. So we somehow, you ask yourself, where are the men of integrity? Is it really true that every man has a price? Because I've been hearing that saying that every man has a price. Is it really true that every man has a price? I've not said anything. I'm just asking questions. Now, tell us what you think about this. Because in Tobi's, response to the things that he has seen people saying about the recent news of his imminent deportation, in response, he threw this card that is very, very stupid. Because when people do wrong and they are to face their wrong, they want to pin it on somebody else. Either they play the ethnicity or the racial card or the religious card. That is what some people are known for. Now, in his arrogance, look at what he gave as a response.
Hi, good evening, folks. Let me post this. I've heard a lot today, and I'm doing this because of our fans, our friends, people who are worried. I'm right at home, no cause alarm, and naturally I'll dismiss things. Every Nigerian should be proud of being in the UK, a city that is well pulling people vibes. So the matter that they are propagating, the smallest in Yoruba they say, "Toba le ni bi ko abilusi." What I'm trying to say, no, my love long city and nobody anything of all the people of color pastors and survive every. Now let me talk about fraud case. They keep saying that. These are advanced. I'm speaking here openly. After all this, have you ever heard someone goes and make someone from another race? Nothing came. So those who hate what you want to hear is not what you want to hear. Arrested, not one criminal. You should all be with me. So here home, nobody should panic for me. I succeeded with this, and I'm in the league of the people that pick out to persecute and surviving nothing and nothing. Show all our followers that there will be no end. What here, PT number 1 and I love you all. Thank you. Anyone please? PS5. Thank you. Hi, good evening, Prof. Let me pause this.
Well, anyway, that is the video there. Let me know what you think about it. Thank you very much and God bless you. See you in the next video. Till then, from me to you, shalom.